Hi, I'm going to show you how to use Procreate from the ground up. We will start with creating canvas, go through the interface and brush creation, then paint something to put it all together. My goal is to get you comfortable with the basics so you can start experimenting on your own. We'll be working with Procreate 504 with updated Brush Studio and brush libraries full of new brushes. So the first thing, let's start by creating canvas. You'll need to tap the plus icon in the top right corner of the main screen, and this will open the canvas section window where you can see any canvas sizes you have created before and the basic canvas. To create a custom canvas, tap the folder icon below the plus sign, and this opens the canvas settings where you can adjust the width, height and the resolution. When you change these settings, the maximum number of layers changes too. The higher resolution means less available layers because of the memory limits. The exact number will depend on your iPad model. I'm using the first generation iPad Pro, so if you have the newer model, you might see different layer limits. And don't worry too much about the perfect settings right away. You can edit your canvas dimensions later if you want. And next you will see the color profile options. If you're planning to print your work, select CMYK. And keep in mind that RGB to CMYK conversion isn't always accurate. Something that looks great on your screen might print differently on paper. And since I'm not printing this, I'll stick to RGB and leave the default settings. Below there are time-lapse settings. In Procreate, every brush stroke is saved with the file in the form of a time-lapse recording, which is great. You can export them as videos, and here you can choose the dimensions and the quality. Under Canvas properties, you can set your default background color and choose to start with transparent background. And finally, we will name our canvas and tap Create, and we are ready to start. There are some gestures and shortcuts. The basic gestures that I use are these: 2 fingers to undo, 3 fingers to redo, and 4 fingers to toggle full screen mode. And 4 fingers again brings back the interface. And moving the screen using 2 fingers. There are some other ones, but these are my main ones. Let's walk through the main interface elements. On the left side, we have the brush size and opacity settings. And right in between them, there is the color picker button. We can hold the button and move around the pen, and we can pick the color by releasing the button. In the top bar on the left, we have back to main gallery button, actions, and there is add, delete and copy, etc. And then we have canvas options where we can edit the size and crop our canvas. We can add a reference window. We can rotate the image horizontally and vertically, which is very helpful and something I use very often. Next, we have export in different formats. We can see our time-lapse video, and there are also all the preferences. The right part of the toolbar are our main tools: brushes, smudge tool, eraser, layers panel, and color options. Before we start our painting, let's talk about the brushes here. The brush library. The Procreate comes with multiple brush sets organized by category. You can select brushes from different sets and add them to your own custom folder for easy access. You can also import Photoshop brushes, but they don't always convert perfectly, and usually they need some adjustments to work properly in Procreate. In latest version of Procreate, there is a new brush library and classic library. There are a lot of new brushes designed by Kyle Webster. So let's go to new brush library. And I'm going to import my brush set that I use. You will find a link to download them under the video. The brushes are here, and now let's create a custom brush. So tap the plus sign, create new brush, and now we're in Brush Studio. What's nice here is that you can see your changes in real time as you adjust the settings. Just make the test strokes and watch how they update. There are many settings available, but I only use a small part of them for the most brushes. Keep in mind that more complex brushes can slow down performance, especially in older iPads. And each option is a different level of complexity. So what I use is a basic stroke properties, the shape of the brush, and all the settings for that, the grain and texture. I also use color dynamics. I usually play with this and see what will happen. And the more you change it and the more color differences you will get in one brush stroke. And it's great that you can see the changes on the drawing pad on the right. And also properties like maximum size of the brush. Some of the other settings are more complex, and you can make a very complex brush that behaves like a real watercolor brush, but we will make something easier. And to create a brush, we will need two images. One that defines the brush shape and the other one that will be the texture. We can design our own brush shape and the texture and import it, but for now we will use the shapes and the textures from the library. So let's go to the shape source, edit, import from the source library, and here we have a lot of different shapes to choose from. And I'm going to pick this one because I like sharp graphic shapes. And then I select done. And now I go to grain source and do the same. And so let's pick this one. And now I'm going to play around with the settings. And I like how this looks, and I'm going to add some color dynamics. I think I like it. So now I will go to brush details in the bottom. I will give it a name and write my name and my signature, and we are done. Okay, for layers, there are two key features I like to use. First, you can lock a layer by swiping two fingers across it. And this lets you paint within that shape without going outside of the boundaries. Second, clipping masks. Create a new layer above your base shape, tap the layer and enable clipping mask. And now anything you paint will only appear within the boundaries of the layer below it. You can stack many different clipping masks for more complex work, and each layer you can edit independently. And the color tool in the top right gives you several different color wheel options, and I typically use the disc version since it's similar to Photoshop. There's also a classic wheel, harmony modes for color schemes like complementary and triadic, value sliders, and custom palette creation. So let's make a first layer and do the sketch. And for that we will use this pen brush. If I want to make a straight line using pen, just make a line, hold on, and in the end the line will straighten out. You can also make nice curved lines by simply drawing a line as good as you can, and when you hold it down it gets smoothened out. So let's make a sketch. And now let's paint shapes on another layer. Let's move the sketch layer so it's on the top and we change the opacity, and now I'm going to paint the shapes. And when the shapes are looking good, I can block them by sliding 2 fingers to the right. And now I'm going to paint within the shapes and add some details. And while I'm painting the details, I like to play with selection options, switching between automatic and freehand. With automatic selection, you press on the element or color shape you want to select, and when you move the pen to the right, it changes the range of your selection. While working on colors and details, I sometimes go into adjustments using hue, saturation sliders, and color balance. And now that the painting is looking good, let's add some finishing effects using Adjustments panel. First, I will duplicate the canvas and paste it as a single layer on top. And this way, when I apply effects, they affect the entire image as one layer. You can also apply effects to individual layers. If you need more control, you don't have to merge everything. For example, adding motion blur to just one element without affecting the rest. There are few adjustment options available, and I'm going to use the glitch effect to add some subtle texture and some visual interest. But I will keep it light so it doesn't overpower the effect I have already built. So when you're satisfied with your work, you go to Actions and select Share. And from here you can export in different formats depending on your needs. Or you can export it as a PSD file to continue working in Photoshop, for example. And that covers the basic Procreate workflow from canvas setup to final export. Thanks for watching and let me know your thoughts in the comments.